two Kubernetes objects, both create pods and almost look identical. But if you use one instead of another, you literally can lose all your data. And most developers, they don't even realize they are making this mistake. When you search for this online, you usually find deployment is stateless and StatefulSet is stateful. But in reality, that explanation is not enough. Let's say you deploy your database in Kubernetes. Pod crashes, pod restarts, everything seems fine until you realize your data is gone. This happens because Kubernetes doesn't treat all the pods in the same way. This all comes down into one thing, that is identity. A deployment creates a pods that are interchangeable. Pods are identical, names are random, order doesn't matter, and one pod can replace another one. Kubernetes doesn't care which pod is running. It just cares that the pod should run. This is perfect for stateless application. For example, your web apps, your backend, your APIs. If one pod is gone, another one will replace it. No problem. Now let's change one thing. What if your pod has a data? For example, Kafka, Postgres. Now suddenly all the pods are not equal anymore. You now need stable identity, stable network name, stable storage, and deployments give you none of that. This is where StatefulSets comes in. They have a fixed name, pod 0, pod 1. Each pod gives its identity. Each pod has its own storage, and startup order matters. Pod 0 is always pod 0. Postgres 1 is always Postgres 1. So the key difference is StatefulSets, they are unique. The pods are unique. But in deployments, you can replace one pod with another one. If you want to have an advanced look on StatefulSet, they don't come alone. They come with persistent volume claims, storage classes, headless services. Let's understand this topic individually. Persistent volume, it's storage in Kubernetes that keeps your data safe even if your pod dies. It's like a hard drive that exists outside the pod and it can be reused. Next one is storage class, which tells your Kubernetes how to create the storage automatically, like SSD, fast disk, cloud storage. And the next one is headless services, which help you to interact with the pod, each pod, instead of hiding them behind one IP. This is important when pods needs to know each other individually, like in database or in the cluster. Here comes a bigger question. If StatefulSet is so important, then why don't we use StatefulSet for everything? There are multiple problems. One of them is you lose flexibility. StatefulSet create pods with fixed identities. That means pod can't be freely replaced. Scaling is really slower and controlled. For normal application, your APIs or backend, that is unnecessary overhead. Second one is slower deployments and scaling. In StatefulSet, one pod is restarted after another one because order matters. Compared to deployment, the restarting is really slow, intentionally. That hurts the performance of stateless applications. Third one is more resource and storage complexity. Each pod in StatefulSet has their own PVC, persistent volume claims. If you don't need it, you are increasing your cost, wasting the storage, and increasing the complexity. The fourth one is it's hard to manage, and fifth one is really risky. Think of it like this. Deployment, it's like the worker in the factory. One can replace another one. But the StatefulSet, it's like the tagged employee who has designated role, and you can't replace them with another one. Let's wrap it up. Kubernetes is not only about the YAML file. It's about understanding how these objects behave. And once you understand it, everything starts to make sense. That's all for this video. I hope you have understood about the deployment and StatefulSets. You were watching Subhash at Arkansas. See you in the next one. Thank you.